Hello, everyone. Happy to have you today for this live event where we will be able to go through the blockchain games report from DappRadar. And it's always a report that we are really looking at very closely because it's useful information, data from the blockchain game industry. And for this event, for this live panel, we really wanted with Pedro, and I will let you, Pedro, to introduce yourself and Japwada, obviously, but we really wanted to capitalize on the data you just found, and that will be released, I think, in a few minutes to everyone to go through all the different details that we can see. So, Pedro, very, very happy to have you on the show. And yes, if you can introduce yourself, Japwada as well.
Flavion, thanks for the invitation. Super happy to be joining this space. And hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Pedro. I'm the head of research at DappRadar. And basically, DappRadar, for those of you who do not know, is the world's Dapp store, where we basically centralized all the information coming from decentralized applications, DeFi, NFTs, and for of course games. And we try to show what's happening with digestible data. We
Yeah.
also have other features to play around, like the portfolio, where you can track basically your net worth in DeFi and NFTs, and also token and NFT explorers, NFT valuation, and yeah, explore that radar. It's super cool.
Yeah. So without any further ado, because we have a lot to cover based on the data that you
Yeah.
you will be able to release soon, we would like to start with usage. And what I noticed from the last report that you released back then in July, it was in July, we noticed that blockchain game represents almost 60% of industry usage, and for this report in August, so seeing the month of August, the blockchain gaming landscape is growing as well. But gamify is one of the hottest buzzword as well, as you said, but with more than 50 industry usage, so less than 60. How could you explain this decline for blockchain games regarding for the industry usage?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question actually. So you're totally right. That the industry usage in general is decreasing, of course, because of the challenging market conditions. Right, we're in the mid of a recession with macro indicators that are definitely hindering the growth of the industry. But talking about games precisely, we saw a growth in the gaming sector for the last couple of months, despite the bear season. However, this time I think there is another phenomenon that can explain the decrease in the dominance of blockchain games. Because yeah, you're right. Last month, blockchain games represented 60% of the blockchain activity. It's now cut down to the half. Still very very good number, right? Half of the blockchain industry activity is coming from games, but it looks like it's because of the Ethereum merge. People are getting ready for this important event in the crypto space. So this is where we see activity picking up in DeFi dApps, while the TVL is still decreasing. The activity and usage of DeFi dApps, the number of transactions, is increasing. Because if we analyze, quickly getting out of the game context, if we analyze the merge, all the tokens that you own on the new merge proof of stake, you will also get them on the fork proof of work blockchain, right? So people are preparing in different ways. They are probably uh, borrowing money from protocols like Cave and MakerDAO to be sure that they will receive extra tokens. They are getting out their liquidity pools. So that the number of transactions is now heading into the DeFi space, while the number of transactions in games, yeah, it's still a bit down this month, but still nothing to panic about. Yeah, just normal market conditions.
Yeah, actually, it's perfect because it was one of the questions I wanted to ask you about this ETH merge that everyone is talking about coming in a few days and the impact of this merge in the blockchain gaming ecosystem. So it's perfect to have your opinion on that. And if we continue on the usage, So in terms of daily unique active wallets, are we seeing an increase as compared with the last month?
Actually, in terms of unique active wallets, we also see a small decrease of 11%. So it's the dominance that went down from 60 to 50. And in the same way, that it's because that the number of unique active wallets connected to blockchain games decreased from 900,000, almost a million, to 850,000, what we saw in average. Daily unique active wallets connected to blockchain games.
Okay, makes sense. Um, I really would like to have your personal opinion. It's always trying to go over what will happen in the next month, not only depending on what's happening in the crypto markets overall, but maybe in terms of usage for blockchain games. How do you see this curve evolving in the next few months we have left in 2022?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is also sure, the challenging market conditions are probably going to continue all the way through the end of the year. And let's be honest, the gaming industry is still very much driven by farming, play to earn, and GameFi games, right? We're still not on that point where users connect to play the game for fun only. There is still the majority of blockchain users, of blockchain gamers, that connect to the game to with the only objective of farm resources, find tokens. So I think the challenging market conditions could bring the activity a bit down, but I think it will consolidate around the 800,000 daily unique active wallets. I do not see it decreasing so steeply. I think we're more on a consolidation phase rather than a steep decrease.
Okay, perfect. Moving on to what I really would like to see for each report that you're releasing is the usage for blockchain games, depending on the protocols that the games are using.
Yep.
And Wax accounts for a large part of the gaming activity, 42% in July in terms of daily UAW, but was declining. Are we in the same situation now with August?
In wax, well, let's see that. Let's remember that the most played game in wax is Sailing Worlds, right? It's gathering around 200,000 daily unique active wallets, and we still see a small decrease, around 5% in Alien Worlds players compared to July. And another game that we have been tracking, well, deciding to track or not because of the high bot activity, is Farmers World. But we also see a small decrease in Farmer Worlds of around 10%. So overall, the Wax blockchain has, yes, uh, constrained a bit its growth over the last month. Nothing in particular. I think just other games are starting to attract some of these users. And also, let's remind that a wallet does not represents one to one with a user. One user may have multiple wallets. So it can be the case, talking about Wax, where I can have 4 or 5 different Wax wallets and I play Alien Worlds. We are accounting those as 5 wallets, but it's only one user. It could be also the case that a user is starting to use less wallets for different reasons, but it's not that the game is being less played. It's just the number of wallets that is being decreasing. We are not entirely sure that the number of gamers is decreasing.
Okay, so it's not. You think that these two games are really driving the usage of Wax, or maybe we are seeing more competition in terms of choosing maybe other blockchain for games, maybe turning to other blockchain than Wax?
I mean, Wax gamers are, I would say, loyal.
Mhm.
So they like their games. They like it. It's one of the easiest interfaces to interact. The Wax one. It's very simple. You can log in with a email and a password, and you can have your account rather than connecting to MetaMask and so on. So the friction with the users is lower. However, it's a good point. We have games like the blockchain brawlers that is increasing its activity. We have Splinterlands that is doing now some transaction in the Wax ecosystem as well. So at some point, yes, it's true that these type of games are stealing a bit of the thunder from Healing Worlds and Farmers World. You're mute, Flav.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that, Pedro. Um, Actually, moving on to the blockchain, what was really interesting, I don't know if you can say some words about that, was the other blockchain that we're seeing is Hive, really related to what's happening with Splitterlands, but we're seeing a kind of recovery phase when Splitterland announced a lot of things during May or June.
Yes.
What's happening for Hive for this month?
So Splinterlands accounts for 95 or 96% of the Hive
Wow.
blockchain activity.
Okay.
So basically, Hive is entirely sustained by this trading card game. And the case of Splinterlands is one that I'm never tired of explaining because it's what the future of blockchain game needs actually.
Okay.
Projects that let's give a bit of context of what happened with Splinterlands in June and how we get here. So Splinterlands was the most played games for the last from September of last year till June of this year. Splinterlands was the number one game played with around 300 daily active wallets. Then in June, the team announced some tweaks, some changes to the rewards, how they
Yeah.
were paying the rewards, how the tokens, the governance tokens would work, and so on. And they also implemented nodes where people could start approving the transactions in the ecosystem. So this is a big change. I truly believe that Splinterland's team kind of lay out a blueprint here of how to be successful for a blockchain game. Why? Because they sacrifice short-term growth, right? They were growing, growing,
Hmm.
growing, and it got to a point where the ecosystem could fall into unsustainability. So they cut down the rewards, they sacrifice their short-term growth that they were obtaining, and they decide to reward really hardcore players and provide a long-term sustainability for the ecosystem. So I think this is a very positive thing to see in the GameFi ecosystem. Some projects are just focusing on the short-term vision and not thinking too much in the long-term sustainability. We have seen a few cases in the BNB chain, and yeah, it's great to see that one of the leading game dApps like Splinterland is showing us the way.
Okay. We know that for these changes that you just mentioned in terms of reward in the game, reorganization of SPS, price distribution, this seems, as you said, and as I understand from what you are saying, they are paying off in terms of sustainability of the game through the graph that you will be able to release in a few moments. So despite the number of debates that it first created. So you're saying that it's a good thing for the sustainability of the game, long term, mid term.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Splinterlands again was attracting around 350,000 daily users in May, June. Then they cut down the rewards. The users went down to 130 and 40. So it's
Mm,
losing like 200,000 wallets per day.
yeah,
It's huge. And people started saying that this was the end of Splinterlands, another game that has failed. But no, they are coming back. It's for the third month in a row they have been growing their gamer base with the new reward system, with the new governance in place, with the rental of the SPS nodes. So it's a terrific job that the Splinterlands team is doing.
perfect. So moving to, I would like to go to the next graph. It's our first time, guys. We really want to do that. So each time we have a new BGA DappRadar report. So be diligent with that. But we're trying to do our best to show you some first graph for the report. And actually, based on what we can see, I think we have two bullish signals for blockchain gaming, and it seems to be related to the sale of NFTs games. Uh, could you tell us more about it? What's happening?
Yes. So if yeah, this chart is just focusing on the NFTs that we labeled as gaming NFTs. When you think about, for example, the sandbox or the game items, the Axie pets, that's the same Splinterland trading cards, and so on. These are NFTs that are labeled as game items. And the decrease is pretty dramatic in terms of trading volume, right? This goes in line with the NFT market overall. We are falling off a cliff since surpassing 10 billion in January
Mm.
in NFTs. Right now, we didn't even get to 1 billion. So
Yeah.
it's also an important decrease. So I couldn't make too much out of it. However, as you say, we see an important uptick in the number of NFT game sales. And why is this happening? Because we are nearing a stage in the GameFi space, in the blockchain space, where the games that we have been listening for months now are close or are releasing their products. And either alpha passes that can be traded, skins, lands. Well, lands are not in this formula, sorry, but skins, cards,
Yeah.
and all these type of NFTs are starting to be released. These projects are releasing them. And for example, if we see Immutable X, we see an important increase in the activity in Immutable X.
Yeah.
And Immutable X, let's remind that they have got some chained. Um, they have Guilds of Guardians. They have upcoming Ember Sword, of course, Illuvium. So
Mm.
Illuvium, for example, launched a beta version, a closed beta, but the land sales, the passes, the badges, and some monsters and items are already tradable in marketplaces. So these type of items open to the public trading are what are contributing to the increase of the sales count of NFT games.
Mhm.
And just to finish this idea, this the last peak that we see from July to August only means one thing: that the demand for blockchain games is increasing rapidly.
Mhm. Yeah. Perfect. And actually, this is a discussion I'm having with a lot of BGA members, blockchain game companies, telling me that they are waiting for the best moment to launch their first NFT release because every blockchain
Yeah.
games didn't start just last year. Um, what do you think? It seems like it's not very easy to identify the perfect timing to release an NFT launch, NFT games launch. What do you think?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think it all depends on how well you are able to nurture your community. If you
Hmm.
are able to growth, a good number of community members. If you really have everything in place, my personal view is I would prefer to release my product 1 or 2 months later. But once I launch my product, I'm pretty sure that what I am going to put out for the public to play, it's something that will be, uh, yeah, I mean, smooth
Yeah.
and does not contain much bugs. So I rather, yes, push back the launch of a project 2 months rather
Mhm.
than accelerating a launch and launching an incomplete product. But in terms of market conditions, I have heard a lot of opinions whether this is the perfect time or the worst time. Like I've heard this is the perfect time to launch an NFT because people are desperate to get new investment opportunities. But at the same time, this is the worst
Yeah.
part, the worst time to launch an NFT project because there is no liquidity in the market. And I think there is a balance, but it's more about what you can do from your product side, from your team side, rather than the market conditions. They can play a role. They will play a role all the time, but it will also depends a lot on you on what you are able to introduce and the way you introduce it.
Yeah, fully agree with you. And if we move to the next chapter of what you will be able to describe with the report, it's always determining the defining the top blockchain games that we can see based on the daily average um, data. And actually,
Yes.
Alien Worlds still the most played blockchain games, right? And last week they even increase in terms of last month. They even increase in terms of average daily UAW. But for this month, they are decreasing a bit, 4%, as I could see on the upcoming reports. Nevertheless, and I know that you did an AMA, sorry, to talk about this. They announced last month a specific partnership with Zilliqa, the layer one. Could you explain what's behind this partnership, really?
So that AMA was performed by Ian, but yes, to be honest, I think I'm not fully aware of what's happening with Silica, to be very honest.
Mm.
For example, if we analyze Alien Worlds, they have extended already to Binance. Uh, we have some gameplay that they call missions here in the Binance blockchain. And with Silica, let's remember that Silica is another scaling solution that will be very much involved for blockchain games, especially. So I reckon that it should be more about new features and more gameplay that they will launch in this blockchain. Um, I'm sorry that I cannot give you a complete answer on this one, but I have not a very much
Yeah.
understanding of what they will be doing here.
No, it's perfectly fine, and actually we'll be able to drop off maybe put the link of the AMA so everyone will be
Yeah.
able to access the content. I also thought and understood that the need and the interest of having Zilliqa is really based on the capacity of game developers at Alien Worlds to use the blockchain inside the game engines as well. So it could be as well a need for game developers to do more things with NFTs in Alien Worlds. But as you said, we'll be able to anyone can access the AMA to know more about what's happening. One other game, and I didn't know that game to be very frank with you before you mentioned it in the top 10, was Gameta. And it seems that they strengthened the positions in the top 10 last month, fourth
Yes.
position. Could you tell us more about the game and its situation for this month? Because things are moving, as I understand.
See, yes. So Gameta is I don't know how is it Gameta or
Yeah,
Gameta.
I know either. Maybe you're right.
Well, this game is running on the Solana blockchain. And I would describe it as a platform of mini games
Yeah,
and also social mini apps where you can interact with your friends there, share social insights, but also play mini games and earn their token. Uh, this is kind of the same model that we see in Mobox running on the BNB chain.
hmm.
I
Okay.
would say this is probably the most similar game that we could see. But I gotta say that it's very new, a new gaming model that combines very socially driven game with mini games and a bit of strategy as well. It's interesting, and yes, it's getting a lot of popularity.
Hmm.
Again, Solana based, and if we analyze the Solana blockchain, it's also full with
Yeah.
interesting upcoming games. We have Orrery, which is an open world metaverse where you will be able to battle with Pokemon's type of creatures. It seems really interesting. Then we will have the Ninja World. We will have the big one, which is Star Atlas, that everyone is talking about. A lot of venture capitals have already signed and partnered with Star Atlas. Actually, we had an AMA with Star Atlas last Friday. It was super
I saw
interesting.
that with Wilshire Wagner, the CEO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that was a good one. Ben White interviewed him, and so yeah, it's interesting to see how different blockchains are starting to rise up as a house of games.
Yeah, it might lead us as well to another conversation just later on mobile games, blockchain
Oof.
mobile games
Yes.
based on that. But as you can see, actually, this is the top 10 of the reports, the upcoming reports. And actually, we see Alien Worlds, Split Islands, Farmers World, actually in the top three again, and Gameta as well. And Trickshot Blitz, the last one, is a game on flow, right?
Yes, actually, it's super interesting. Both Solitaire Blitz and Trickshot Blitz, both flow-based games. it's the type of games that we used to play in the first mobiles that we got after the Snake in Nokia, of course. But what you do, you play solitaire. I play with a virtual pool. So these one are getting quite adopted, and they are running on Flow. As you could see, they have increased. Yes, of course, the number month to month are spectacular because basically last month they didn't have a good amount of users, and then jumping from 100 users to 14,000 can give you this 6 million increase month over month. But the importance is that they are consolidated already as top 10 games in August. And Flow is an interesting blockchain also to talk about. They have partnered with Ticketmaster to launch NFTs. Of course, big business model there. And of course, they are home to NBA Top Shots, the NFL Blitz as well. So interesting stuff that they are brewing up in the Flow ecosystem.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. It's true that they are making a lot of partnership, not only in the gaming sector. So we will see in the futures
Yeah.
the usage of the Flow blockchain, and the next chapter of what we'll be able to talk. I think it's one of the most not interesting, but for some of them, yes, for sure, interesting topic that you're able to address is investment in the blockchain game
Yes.
ecosystem. It's something very followed, obviously, to explain the if the market is healthy. So what's happening for this month? Because I know that last month one was the worst month we just saw in terms of
Yes.
investment in the blockchain gaming sector. So what's happening for this?
Capital and money is going always to be interesting. So let's talk about the money side of things. Yes, you're right. And actually, I liked how you described it as a metric of how healthy an industry could be, right? If money is flowing into the industry, we could say it's showing signs of health, it's showing signs of growth. Um, so this month, well, from the end of July until last week, we were able to identify 750 million invested into blockchain game and metaverse type of projects. We also consider investments in infrastructure type of projects, like the ones that are building probably blockchain nodes. They can be building, I don't know, metaverse infrastructure, AI, AR, but always related to blockchain games and metaverse ecosystems. Of course, a good chunk of that money goes to metaverse projects and the games itself. Then we have also a good amount of money being raised by investment firms like Animoca itself. Um, and I would say there's also a small portion. Yes, good that perfect that you showed the chart. So as you see, actually this month, infrastructure got the best out of it. We consider investments in the likes of actually Flow got actually an investment. Uh, we also see an investment, if I'm not mistaken, in a, sorry, I lost the name, in a metaverse project that is aiming to similar to what Incredible is doing with the other side, another type of metaverse layer that will
Mm.
be able to gather as much people as possible to receive a good investment. And yeah, I mean it's a very well distributed
Is it
portfolio.
Temasek? No, not this one.
No, Temasek actually, I think, is one of the largest investors that is also raising some funds to
Yeah,
invest later in,
sure.
in blockchain games.
Okay.
And you have also Animoca brands in there.
Mhm. Perfect. I'm seeing, I think, maybe I'm wrong, you tell me, but I'm seeing for the first time the media in terms of option for, not option, but investment purposes. What is it exactly? Is it media related to blockchain games? What could be these kind of investments?
So, for example, there is Uniquely that they are a Web3 media platform. They
Mm,
are trying to do different type of events, hosting events, doing podcasts, organizing
I see.
AMAs, and so on. and they are focusing their efforts actually just in the Web3 gaming space. We also saw, for example, this month it was Stacked, where Pantera Capital invested 13 millions into Stack. This is a Web3 gaming streaming service. They aim to become the Twitch of blockchain games. So this is the type of investments we labeled as media, where yes, basically the community is going to be the final receiver of the product, either via streaming, maybe podcast, maybe AMAs, and so on, and content, any type of content.
Okay. Web magazine could be a part of this
Correct.
category as well. Okay,
Correct.
perfect.
Yeah, correct.
Awesome. Last part of our discussion and last part of the reports, very interesting topic, and you really put a lot of effort to explain that is mobile gaming related to blockchain as well. And I actually saw the graph. I won't be able to share, but obviously you will be able to see it in the upcoming reports, explaining the state of the gaming industry overall, not talking about blockchain specifically, but the gaming industry by devices, so mobile, desktop, console, and the importance of mobile gaming in the success of the gaming industry in terms of revenue is so big. It represents a lot of things, more than 50% of the
Yes.
success of the gaming industry. And we can see a lot of things in mobile gaming. I don't want to go through a lot of that, but we can agree that blockchain gaming will bring adoption with blockchain for blockchain. But do you feel like it will come as well specifically through mobile games?
Uh, this is a very difficult question to answer, to be honest. But I think that mobile gaming is going to be one of the big players, one of the big reasons that we reach mass adoption. And it's as simple as that case. I like to contrast and give the example of M-Pesa, and how the mobile banking infrastructure in Africa basically changed from a few people that have banking access in Kenya to over 20 million with M-Pesa over the lapse of a couple of years. And I think something similar could happen, especially in emerging economies like the Southeast Asia, Venezuela, Latin America, and so on. And where imagine a gamer playing Axie Infinity in his mobile and having tokens, the rewards here, the Ronin mobile wallet here, and also the ramp network where they could easily turn the SLP into fiat, and they will go and pay with the card in the grocery shop. So everything is in all in one place. So
Yeah.
this definitely reduces the friction that we still currently see in the Web3 space. So
Yeah.
I gotta say it's going to be an important factor.
And as you mentioned, Axie Infinity is really putting a lot of effort to develop the
Yeah.
mobile version of that. And they are not the only one. We have a list of very popular blockchain games really wanted to focus on that device. So it makes sense with everything you just said. And going to the other side of what's happening, not only in terms of mass adoptions, players, but blockchain game developers, and I would say game developers in particular. Um, how game developers will be able to easily integrate blockchain mechanic in their games. And you obviously know the question because you tackle a very specific topics in the report.
Yes, we tackle a very specific topics in the report because we had the opportunity to chat a couple of weeks ago, and you shout out that, hey, we're seeing a trend shaping up in the gaming space. I'm seeing a lot of projects being focused on developing SDKs, APIs that will help developers develop better products, right? So we took a look, and definitely we see something, yes, rising there. So actually we chat with Mirror World, who is a project that is developing SDKs for gamers, and they were able to explain us the importance of the importance of the role that they are playing. on one hand, they are facilitating and making the process easier for developers go and build a game that, on the other hand, will have a better user experience, right? So they are making life easier for developers to build better products for the gamers with a better user experience. So I'm gonna give the example that Chris Yu from Mirror World gave is, imagine that you're playing a blockchain game in your mobile. So you're playing and then you need to do a blockchain transaction. So you need to change app and manually go to the wallet interface, do transaction there, and maybe you will then need to a third app, which is the marketplace. So there are three or four or maybe five apps that you need to do manual process. It's not linked, it's not automatic, so not a great user experience. With SDKs and other type of APIs and connections, developers can build a hands-on product that it's all contained in one single shot. So with this type of technology, the game will automatically redirect you and authenticating you to another interface that could be where you are making the blockchain transactions. And in the same interface, you will be able to trade NFTs, and then in the same interface you will go back to the game to keep playing with your new acquired assets. So as you can see, this is an improved, enhanced user experience, and I think this is the type of projects that are most of the time under the scope, because we're just focusing on the upper layer, right, on the projects and the metaverse platform that we are building and we are getting into. But the infrastructure layer, the lower layers, where sometimes they are underrated. I would say, because they are playing a vital role. This is also why we try to give visibility to this type of projects in our investment section, because they play an important role in the end for the ecosystem.
Fully agree with you. They are under the radar and try to improve visibility about what they are building, and we kind of saw that through the Game 7 reports. Game 7 being one of the biggest blockchain game developers community, and they released a very interesting report on the challenges for game developers to use blockchain, and obviously the needs. A game engine that directly integrates with Web3 infrastructure via easy to use SDKs is urgently needed. So
Yep.
there are two needs: a needs to know more and a needs to promote what's building. And actually, as you mentioned, you will promote that with My World, and we have ChainSafe as well, Stardust, a lot of BGA members
Yep.
building something. So it's perfect that you can highlight that on your report.
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting role that you guys at the BGA are playing. Not because you're not only focusing again in the games, you're also talking to these type of projects that will make the industry better for everyone. So yeah, that's great. Also from the BGA.
That's why it's important to have this community, and it's so cool and good to have DappRadar as well as a member. Having the opportunity to exchange with you, Pedro, on that report, I think it's very interesting. The report, I didn't check the website, but it should come very very shortly in a few
Yes,
minutes. So
let's check.
thank you very much, Pedro. It was a very good conversation. I really liked it, and I hope the audience as well. And I will tell you, see you at the next one.
Yeah, thanks, Flavian. I'm super happy to be here. Thanks for the space, and yeah, let's repeat it.
Perfect. Thanks, Pedro. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
one. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.